Good evening, everyone. I'm Gero and welcome to Gendera. And today we're looking at the weather in Lockyer Waters. Now, if you've been following my channel for a little while, you'll know that recently I did a video comparing what the Bureau of Meteorology's app in Australia said was going to be the temperature in my area, which is, I'm looking at it again now. And I've got a little weather station that I have as well that shows me basic information, and there was a big discrepancy between the two of them. And one of my wonderful viewers of my channel actually suggested, so it was Andy from McDowell Manor, I'll leave a link to his channel. He suggested that I check out the underground weather. Ooh. And I'm like, the underground weather? Okay. So I googled underground weather, and it brought me to this website, which is absolutely fascinating. So it's wunderground.com. It's a global thing from what I can understand. So it's a bit difficult to zoom out to everywhere, but you can see the weather from everywhere. So wherever you are on the planet, you can actually get your weather. So depending on what weather stations there are. Now, these weather stations that are coming up are actually showing temperature, like information from privately owned weather stations, which is really, really interesting. So once you zoomed out, you can see a basic for the area, but then you can select what you're actually looking at. So you can look for weather stations or air quality. You can look for webcams. There's a lot of different options here. If you're in America, you can search coronavirus. So yes, really, really interesting stuff that you can actually look into. My interest is the weather stations though. So, and you can zoom right in. So as you saw from what the Bureau of Meteorology said, it's 10 degrees here. Now, this is my local area between Ipswich and Toowoomba. So you've got Toowoomba on the left, over there, and Ipswich on the right. And as you can see, there's a huge variance of temperatures depending on these different weather stations. And it's really interesting because you can zoom in closer. You've got to press the little plus sign, because lots of people around the place have got these weather stations. And it's really, really interesting, especially to go in and actually have a look at them. It shows you the wind direction as well as the temperature, and the amount that it varies is just absolutely phenomenal. And depending on how, and you can actually search by your area and all that sort of stuff. I have found that putting your location on and searching that way, it doesn't work. It told me that I was in Noosa. I'm not in Noosa. But you can tap on the actual thing. So I've just tapped on this little 8 in the middle of the screen, and it's brought up that it's Regency Downs, and it's got all of this information on here. So let's click on that, and it'll open up that web page that actually has all the information from this particular weather station. And you can change it so it's either in Fahrenheit or Celsius. So if you tap on the 3 bars up in the top right hand corner, it gives you the option to go to settings, and then you can check Fahrenheit or Celsius. I'm going with Celsius. So yeah, it tells you what the temperature is now, what the dew point is, what the precipitation rate is, the humidity, the pressure, and all that sort of stuff. And you can see the other weather stations around it, so you can compare what's happening. You can see the current temperature and the wind and the precipitation and the UV, which at the moment it's 10:45, so there is no UV, and all that sort of thing. And if it's got a webcam associated with it, this one doesn't. But the really cool thing that I like is it's actually got long-term data. It's not just recent data. So it depends on how long somebody's had it up for. But you can actually see data that shows you what's been going on over time, which is absolutely fantastic. I think it's absolutely brilliant. So you can change this to monthly mode. You click view, and it tells you what the average temperature is for June, and the low and the high, and the dew point average and all that sort of thing, and the humidity and the precipitation, so the rain. And you get to see all this data on here that can just be so amazingly interesting and helpful, especially if you're trying to determine what you're wanting to plant on your property. So it's just a really, really useful tool. So, and you can have a look at different years. So let's click on that. I mean, it really depends on how long the person's had the device for, so that you can actually see how far back the information's got. But there's heaps and heaps of information here, which is just absolutely fantastic. I'm really, really thrilled about this, and really grateful to Andy from McDowell Manor for sharing this information with me so that I can share it with you. And I hope you've found it interesting and informative. So yes, very grateful to all those lovely people out there that have got weather stations that have got their information going up on the internet so that we can all check it out. So I hope you found that helpful, and I'll catch you in the next video. Have a great one.